But when you look back in hindsight, everything is 2020. In hindsight, we make mistakes, we're learning from it. In hindsight, yesterday and your tomorrow. In hindsight, it's so much clearer now.
Imagine unlocking an additional $30,000 in your income within just 30 days. What kind of mindset would it take to achieve such a feat, and who could guide you there? My guest today, Nicky, you know what? How do you say your last name? Let's start over.
Billou, Nicky Billou.
Billou, that's what I thought, but I didn't want to. Let me get it going. All right, here we go. Imagine unlocking an additional $30,000 in your income with just 30 days. All right, let's do it one more time. I don't know what's going on in my mouth today. Imagine unlocking an additional $30,000 in your income within just 30 days. What kind of mindset would it take to achieve such a feat? And who could guide you there? My guest today, Nicky Billou, has spent over 20 years studying the mindset of champions and working with elite performers, from Olympic gold medalists to billionaires. As the founder of eCircle Academy and the host of the #1 podcast on thought leadership, he is the perfect person to help us uncover the secrets to rapid financial growth and personal success. Welcome to Hindsight the Podcast. Nicky, how are you doing today?
Lee, it's an honor to be here, man. I'm excited. Let's rock and roll.
All right, I appreciate that. So this is Hindsight the Podcast. So part of it is let's figure out how to get that $30,000 in 30 days, but also just to get to know you a little bit and how you became who you are. So would you mind just sharing a little bit about who you are?
Absolutely. I'm originally actually an immigrant from the Middle East. I'm a Christian from Iran. When I was 11 years old, the Islamic Revolution took place in Iran. And my late father, God rest his soul, he could see the writing on the wall. This was not going to be a place to raise a Christian family. So he got together with my mom. They talked, and they made a decision. They were going to take me and my brothers out of Iran and settle us in North America. And that's what happened. It took a few years, but eventually we got settled where I now live in Toronto, Canada. Now, at the time, Lee, I was a kid, man. I didn't want to leave my home. I didn't want to leave my friends.
I bet.
But in retrospect, this was the single greatest thing mom and dad could have done for me and my two brothers. This was an epic sacrifice that took us from a legacy of tyranny to a legacy of freedom. Inside every human breast, Lee, beats the living heart of freedom. Every man, every woman on this planet yearns to march to the tune of their own drummer, to chart their own course. And to me, if you're an entrepreneur, you are a freedom man. You are somebody who understands that freedom is the basis for free expression, which is the basis for free enterprise, which is the basis for successful entrepreneurship. Every entrepreneur needs to be a freedom lover and a freedom philosopher. My father was an entrepreneur, and he believed as I did. And if you knew him, Lee, you would love him, man. If you were looking for work, he'd sit you down in his office. He'd call all his entrepreneur buddies, and he'd get you a job. And he'd say, Lee, you got a job. You start now. Go. Here's your salary, blah, blah, blah. You were trying to start a business. He'd sit you down. He'd listen to you. He'd give you his best advice. He'd give you access to capital. He'd give you access to clients, even if you were trying to start a competitive business, because he didn't really believe in competition. And if you were his friend, you were trying to buy a car or a house, and you didn't have quite enough money, Dad would give you a loan that he'd never let you pay back. And people say to me when I say this, they go, "Come on, Nicky, man, this sounds too good to be true. This ain't real. You're jiving me." No, I'm not jiving you, man. This is real. They go, "Who would do that?" Just a cynicism of that statement. I said, first of all, the late great Napoleon Billou, and then they'd go, "Why? What's the percentage in it?" I'll tell you the percentage. His immortal soul. He was a committed Christian. He believed he'd been blessed by his Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. He is risen. Amen.
Tell it.
And because of that, he believed that his duty as a Christian, that his Lord and Savior had given him, was to share those blessings with his fellow man and his fellow woman. That was his duty.
Right.
So that was the percentage in it for him, his immortal soul. But secondly, he did it because he could. He was rich. He was successful. And me, man, I worshiped the ground my dad walked on. I wanted to be just like him, man. Like when I was a kid, I just follow my dad around everywhere. And he'd say to me, son, life, it's about people. It's not about numbers. I go, okay, Dad. He says, business, son, is about people, not numbers, not money. I goes, Dad, how's that work, Dad? Without money, you can't do no business. He said, but without people, son, there's no need for money to do any business. All business is, imagine a Venn diagram, right? Kamala Harris said she loved Venn diagrams. That's probably the only thing I like about her, because I like Venn diagrams too, man. You know what I'm saying? So
don't start today. Go ahead.
so we put the first Venn diagrams are great, man. They're awesome. So the first circle there is like, hey, people. The second one is problems. The third one is profits. You solve problems for people for profit. You solve acute problems for amazing people for an awesome profit. That's the awe-inspiring purpose of business. You think about this, man. That's what it all is. You know, Dad would say to me, man, that man in front of you, man, he's someone's son, he's someone's brother, he's someone's father, someone's husband. He's a hero to somebody. He's got hopes, he's got dreams, he's got fears, he's got disappointments, just like you. Maybe someone just like you, son, let him down in business and in life. It's your job to restore his faith in humanity by showing him who you are. And he said, remember, everyone needs someone to believe in them, someone to care about them, because there are moments where our belief in ourselves goes wobbly. And God Almighty sent you as an instrument of his will to pour your belief into that person. Raise them up. Take that little spark of belief and turn it into a roaring fire, because that is how somebody realizes they're a child of God, given glory, given a purpose, and that purpose comes alive, and they go rocking, brother.
You are ready. You are ready this morning. I don't know if I can match this enthusiasm, but I definitely have my ears and my mind open to absorb some of the lessons and some of the knowledge that you're going to present to us today. And I appreciate you telling us about your dad. But just looking at how you're talking, looking at how your dad operated and probably how you operate right now, what's your definition of the mindset of champions?
Man, oh man, that is a great, great question. A mindset of a champion comes to you when you realize that as a child of God, right? You have God on your side, but here on earth, he's given you agency, and it's all up to you. You're responsible for it. You can't go blaming your mom or your sister or your wife or your best friend or your brother for your life not turning out the way you want it to be.
Okay.
A champion takes 1,000% responsibility. So one of the books I wrote is called Finish Line Thinking, How to Think and Win Like a Champion. Let me see if I got a copy right around here. Yep, I do. Right? This is one of my older books. And the foreword to it was written by an Olympic gold medal athlete named Mark McCoy. And, you know, here's the truth. A champion is like, I'm here to create victory. I am responsible. Not Lee, right? Not my mom, not my dad, not my sister, not my brother, not my wife, not my child. Me. Me. By God's grace, I've been given agency. I've been given power.
Okay.
And then in this book are 13 principles of how to think and win like a champion, right? 13. First, embrace healthy eating as a lifestyle. Second, embrace daily exercise as a lifestyle. Surround yourself with support and community. You got to have it. That's 3 and 4. Set big goals. Embrace failure and fail fast. Get the best coach, not just a great coach. Have the heart of a champion. You're either addicted or committed. Commit. Seek to be held accountable. Embrace mastery and take on daily disciplines, my brother. That is what champions do. That's the mind of a champion. I highly recommend you go on Amazon, you pick up Finish Line Thinking, How to Think and Win Like a Champion. It'll blow your mind. It will take you from tragic to magic right away.
I love it.
But keep in mind, I'm going to give you an example of a client of mine. The other thing is, if you want to go in and make champion level money, 30 grand in 30 days, right? First thing you got to get is it can't be about you. Like it sounds ironic, right? But it is about me. I'm trying to make money. Yeah, but no, man, it's about the person standing in front of you. It's about your client. It's about your client or your potential client. if you take the attention and you put it on them and you don't put it on you, that's how you make the money. Because if you're thinking, I wonder if they're going to like me. I wonder if they're going to buy from me. I hope they like me. I hope they buy from me. Come on, please like me. Please buy from me. They're going to feel that, and it's going to feel uncomfortable to them, and they're not going to buy from you.
Yeah.
Because you're going to come across as weird, as strange, because it's all about you. But if you're thinking about them, I wonder what he's like. I wonder what he's going through. Can I help him, Lord? Is it my purpose at this moment to be the instrument of thy will to help this man? Is he suffering the way that I know how to alleviate because of your grace? And if the answer is yes, then my man, you got to go, and you got to go with everything you got to make a commitment. So listen, let's say you came to me and you said, Nicky, man, my business is stalled out. It's stalled out. I need to kick it up. Last few months, I've been making $5-6 grand a month. Can you help me?
Yeah.
That's what I do. I help people who are stalled out in business. I go, yeah. I'm going to tell you, all right, Lee, tell me a little bit about it. And you say, well, listen, I've had the same 5 or 6 clients, no new clients for 3 months. I go, you got a sales problem. You go, yeah, I got a sales problem. I'm going to go, Lee, I got a solution for you. I said, Lee, my number one strength, I actually took the Gallup Strength Finder test, okay? You heard of the Gallup Strength Finder test?
Yeah. I actually got the book. I actually do.
Yeah. So Clifton Strengths, my number one strength is activator. You make things happen by turning thoughts into action. You want to do things now rather than simply talk. It's number one of my strengths. This means I get shit done. And I help my clients get shit done. I'm good at it, right? Like,
you're right.
So what I do, my number one program is I get people into the sales accountability program. It's called 90K in 90 days. So in 90 days, man, you are going to rock it. You are going to make money if you follow my coaching, if you allow me to push you, activate you into action. And people who come into my program, so I'll tell you an example. There's a man, he's an introvert. He's a tax accountant. Okay, he came into my program a little less than a year ago.
Yeah.
And he told me he'd never made more than $10,000 a month or $30,000 in a quarter before. Okay, his name is Michael, and he's an introvert. And he came, he did the program, and brother, he never spoke up. He never said nothing. I was like getting concerned. The program's almost over. I'm like, let me call this dude. And I went and I said, hey, brother, what's going on? You know, is this working for you? He goes, oh, yeah. I said, tell me more. He said, dude, in the 90 days, I made $89,600. I did everything you told me. All the coaching, the way to do it, I've been following it, man. This is the most money I've ever made. I'm like, straight up. He goes, straight up. So he was $400 short of $90,000. $400 short. But he never made more than $30,000 in
a quarter.
In a quarter. Now he's making $89,600. That's just beautiful. And then, you know, I got another fellow. He's a more recent client. He has a day job. He's in IT, but he has a side coaching hustle where he helps men who've been married for 7 years or more, whose sex life is dead. He calls it the dead bedroom, right? Dead bedrooms. Yeah. So their wife is having no sex with them, or the sex is like obligatory. You know what I mean by obligatory sex? Yeah. Like she's doing it, but she ain't into it, and it's terrible for everybody. So I said, Paul, you know how to fix this? He goes, oh yeah. I said, man, there's gonna be a lot of demand for you, brother. There's gonna be a heck of a lot of demand for you. He said, oh yeah. So I said, all right, so how you getting clients? He says, well, I'm not. I just, you know, I haven't had a client in forever. He said, join the program, Paul. So he joins the program. So within his first month and a bit, he signed up 3 clients at a $5,000 program. His first client, man, he did like a jig. He like shot a video. He did, you know, the little jig dances. You know what I'm talking about? He like with some music in the back. I got my first client. And now he's got 3 more. And then, you know why? Because he's letting me activate him. Activate. So, brother, so this is like a month and a bit, and he's made 15 grand, but he's got a day job. So 15 grand extra for him is like
everything.
Right. He's doubled, you know, his investment in us, you know, just about. So it's like 8 grand to be in the program. Right. Right. So, you know, like, and he's got more than half the program left. So he tells me he thinks he's going for 10. He wants to get 10 guys. So if he gets
Mm.
10 guys, that's 50 grand. Like that's
Yeah.
a nice ROI on an 8K spend. You know what I'm saying? It's a
I got
nice
you.
ROI, especially if he's already got money coming in from his day job. But
Yeah.
his longer term goal is he wants to make, enough money that he can leave the job. So that
Right.
looks like what that looks like for him over the course of a year is 150 grand. If he pulls 150 grand in a year, bro, he's leaving his job, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about?
Yeah. I got you. All
So
right. So we're gonna bring it back in real quick.
powerful, bro.
That's really powerful. And I appreciate it. So, how does a champion's mindset differ from the average person's mindset?
That's such a good question. So to be
Yeah.
successful, there are 4 qualities you must have, okay?
Okay.
So quality number 1 is you got to be decisive. That means, first and
Be more
foremost,
decisive.
decisive. No tire kicking. You ain't going into the car shop kicking tires saying, I'm just looking. You're there to buy a car. You follow me? That's decisive. That's what that looks like. You're there to buy a car. So
Right.
that means that if you're like, let's just say, Lee, this was the deal, right? You're sitting with me and you're going, my business has been stuck at the same plateau for 3 months, 6 months, whatever. In your mind, you've made a decision. That's it. We're getting off this plateau, man. We're getting to the next plateau way higher up. That's it, baby. That's it. No more. That's being decisive, right?
Gotcha.
There's no more,
Gotcha.
well, be nice. Man, I'd like it. No, man. You're like, enough. Done. Right? Decisive. It's a very masculine trait. A lot of women look at this and they go, whoa, that's, but I'm saying to you, ladies, you got let a little bit of your masculine side out on this one and go, I'm in. That's it.
Mhm.
And for the men, decision time. No more messing around. I'm in, I'm doing it. Because if you are a champion, thinks like that. Non-champions, no, that's weak. Weak. Don't be weak. Be champion strong, right? Second, committed. And I'm going to share a very powerful technical term you may not have heard before, Lee, but this technical term describes what people are like when they embark on a big new goal. You follow me? Because they've not achieved this goal. So they don't have the skill set. The technical term for that is they suck at it. Have you heard this technical term before?
Yes, sir.
Suck
Yes, sir.
at it. So this is a technical business term. Please write it down, right? You will suck at this for a long time.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be as long if you have a guide. But a long time. If you're saying I'm going to get off my plateau, you must commit that you are going to do whatever it takes, and you embrace that you will suck at first. But there will be a time where you will stop sucking. You will be just mediocre. So you'll go from sucking to mediocre. Big jump, right? And then from mediocre, you're going to go to, I'm average at this. I'm actually average at this. This is amazing. And then you're going to go from average to, I'm halfway decent at this. Yeah, man. Halfway decent at this. And then, man, I'm good. I'm actually good. Woo! And then you're like, by the grace of God, I am now great. I am now great. Great.
Okay.
And I'll tell you, if you're stuck at a plateau and you have a sales problem, what you got to get good at, what you currently suck at, is sales acquisition. Sales acquisition, new customer acquisition, new human beings to help. You suck at this. You have got to go, I will no longer suck at this. I'm going to be great at this. And there's a process. There's a commitment. There's a commitment to start here, to get to here. So that's number 2. Number 2 trait, right?
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you a little story. Of a fella in our community. His name is Michael Osterlenk. He's actually been on my podcast. This dude has a hell of a resume. He has been one of the top, kind of coaches, one of the top thought leaders working with people in getting rid of anxiety. He worked with Ken Wilber. Ken Wilber is this dude out of Colorado who's like this world-renowned spiritual guru, world-renowned, top of the top. So he learned from Ken. He also was involved in domestic policy to reduce the scope of government. And he was also part of like foreign policy to help promote America. And so this Michael Osterlink dude, this cat is like a Renaissance man. Okay. He's like straight up smart, articulate. He'd never had to go after sales before in his life. Everyone came to him. That changed about a year ago. They weren't coming to him anymore. I don't know why. I don't think he knows either. But he was like, oh, crap. I need to learn how to sell. Because the technical term of suck really applied to him when it came to sales because he's never done it.
Right.
So I said, Michael, you need me. I said that to him straight. I said, Michael, you need me. And he didn't like hearing it, but he agreed. And we had a conversation, and he wanted what's known as FU money because he didn't have it. He wanted FU money, and he hired me.
Okay.
And I said to him, Michael, you're going to have to go after business. He goes, okay. He's coachable. What's that look like? I said, you have a big network. He said, I do. I said, I insist that you reach out to 30 people in your network every week, and you do reach out calls with them. And the object of the game is to reconnect and to listen for opportunity to be of service. He said, okay. Michael became a reach out machine.
Yeah.
So from like never having to do this type of work before, like zero, no skill, no background in this. So in a year, I don't think there's a week that goes by that he does less than 30 reach outs. And he sometimes does 50 or 100 reach outs in a week. And brother, these reach outs have opened up opportunities.
Yeah. I bet.
He's making money. He's making sales.
Yeah.
So this is a dude who embraced commitment and sucking to great. So he's not great yet. It's been a year, but he doesn't suck anymore. He's actually decent to good, right? He's going to get great soon, right?
Right.
So that's commit. Now, the third thing is, and this is very important, if you're in business, you need to accept that businesses invest in the growth of their business. Do you agree with that, Lee? That businesses invest in the growth of their business? Every day, all the time, all day long. Apple last year invested over $400 billion in the growth of its business. Apple Computer, okay? So if you and me, we're in business, right? We have assets that we need to invest in, just like Apple has assets it needs to invest in. Now, Lee, what is the most important asset in a business of you?
Me.
Right. Give the man a gold star. You. And Lee, it's imperative that you invest in you. Imperative. You have to, at the very least, read books, buy books and read books. So in 2025, here's my advice to you, Lee Jones, for your self-investment plan. This is the minimum amount of money, time, energy that I recommend you put into you, right? You got to buy at least 10 books about the arenas in which you need to be better, right? At least 10. The average cost of these books is $30 a book. That's $300 investment. Do you agree, Lee, that's a good idea for you to set aside at least $300 to invest in 10 books about subjects you need to get better in for your business? Yes or yes? Yeah.
Yes and yes.
Yes and yes. Secondly, Lee, you should attend some business conferences and workshops. Do you agree that's a smart idea? Yes. Okay. So the minimum investment for a business conference or workshop is $3,000. $3,000, right? For a proper one. And if it's out of town and you got to fly and you got a hotel and whatnot, that can go quickly to $5-6 grand. You need to do 2 of these a year. Does that make sense? Minimum 2 of these a year. So
yeah, absolutely.
$6,000 each. That's $12,000. So put aside budget $12,000 for a course or workshop. Okay. And Lee, you need a coach. You probably need a coach and I don't mean you personally, okay? Because I don't know your situation. I'm just saying this. My advice to you is, let's say you needed to get better at, sales growth, whatever it is. You need a coach.
Right.
You need a coach with a track record of expertise with programs like mine. Set aside at least 10 grand for that. 10 grand for that. That should be in 2025. The minimum investment in Lee Jones should be $22,300. If you invest $22,300 in you, the return on investment should be a bare minimum of $50,000. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Makes sense, right? Now,
Yeah.
the great Robin Sharma once told me, he was a client of mine when I used to be a fitness trainer. He's the author of 2 legendary books that have sold millions of copies. The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari and the 5 a.m. Club. Robin Sharma wrote those, right? He sold 15 million copies of his books. He told me, and everybody write this down, if you want to double your income next year, triple your investment in personal professional development. So take a look at how much you spent on personal professional development last year, triple it. Triple it, you'll double your income. So if you made $50,000 this year and you spent $5,000 on personal and professional development, commit to $15,000 in 2025, you'll make $100,000. 15 grand invested will take you to $100,000. Now, if this year, let's say you did that and you made $100,000 next year, you go, oh my God, so what do I do now? I gotta triple it again. Yep. If you want to double your income. Yep. So that means triple it again. You're going to 45,000. 45,000 will take you to 200,000 in income.
Yeah.
And then you're going, oh my God, is he saying I got to triple it again if I want to double my income again? That's what I'm saying. So if you want to go
scalable
to 400,000, you need to be investing in higher level masterminds, higher level coaching. You need to be going to more conferences. And like I say this to everybody listening to this, okay? So there are 2 programs we offer. This is a shameless plug for Nicky and his work. So let's just do the shameless plug for a minute, okay? So one is if you need to do more sales, and I'm just going to assume most people listening to this, more sales is definitely on their list. Our program, 90K in 90 days, with a guy who's going to activate you into action. Nicky Billou, that's my number one strength. I showed you that. I showed you my Clifton Strengths Finder, right? My number one strength is I'm an activator. I get people into action. And I got to say, Lee, I know you're a smart guy. You get that a guy who gets you into action, that's a guy worth having in your corner, no? When you need to make sales, a guy who's going to get you into action, that's worth having in your corner. You should look into my program. 90K in 90 days. An 8K investment is going to get you, 90K up to 90K. Let's say 8K only got you 25K. That's still incredibly worth your income. That's if you sucked at this. Again, using a technical term, that's if you did a really, really bad job. Now, if you were like the quiet accountant, $89,600, amazing. My best result a client got out of this 90K program is going to blow your mind. Lee, you ready for the mind-blowing result?
Let's go.
$1,050,000.
God dang.
Is that not crazy, man? That's more money than I made in 90 days. I'll tell you that right now. I was like, you did what? Yep, $1,050,000. So this lady, though, she has a really, really niche specialization. Her name's Dia.
I bet. Yeah.
So she works with med spas. These are like medical spas where they do the Botox and the other type of injections. Now, this is big money. Big money. So here's the thing. Most of the folks who run these med spas, they don't have them optimized for maximum money. So they do okay, but they could do so much better. So Dia came and she said, I've shown people how to add 10 million a year to their med spa. I'm like, what? Man, that's a lot of 10 million a year. She goes, oh yeah. And she walked us through it. And it didn't sound like BS. It was for real. And I said, so what would you charge for this? She goes, well, she says it needs this phase and this phase. First phase, $500,000. Second phase, a little more than $500,000. 5 million, 550,000. I'm like, straight up? She goes, yeah. I said, all right. So she started going after people. Now I work with my woman. She's my wonderful, sweet, better half. She's like straight up awesome gal, beautiful, gorgeous, inside and out. But she's also a killer coach. She was with Tony Robbins. She's done 14,000 hours of coaching of entrepreneurs and getting results. So that's her thing. That's her jam, right? And she has a background in this whole clinical spa type of world.
Okay.
So she helped this lady. They set up this event. They got a dozen docs and spa owners and potential spa owners in the room. 8 of them were like, nah. 4 of them were like, we're interested. And 1 of them bought on the spot.
Yeah.
$500,000 check that night. 32 days later, made the second payment, $550,000. $1,050,000. Bro, straight up awesome.
Yeah.
That
yeah.
is
Yeah.
what investing looks like. So I say this to you, you got to invest in you. And like I said, if you are like looking to get your sales to the next level, and this is important, let's talk, right? And
Okay.
then the fourth thing is resilience and resourcefulness. Resilience and resourcefulness. You are going to have days where God's going to test you. He's going to say, let me see how serious you are, Lee. Let's make 5 of your appointments in a row cancel on your last minute. Let's have some huge check bounce. You know what I'm saying? It happens. It happens.
Yeah.
God's seeing, are you serious? Or are you going to quit at the first sign of adversity?
Yeah.
Human beings were designed not for comfort, but for struggle and effort and overcoming and achievement. That is what makes us feel fulfilled. When people are too comfortable, they get anxiety. You know, all the Prozac and crap people take, it's because they're too comfortable. They're not challenged enough. You need to go out there and challenge yourself. I was listening to Joe Rogan. He was talking about, man, everybody's got to go out there and hunt some food once, because it'll show you, wow, man, this is how people did it for 10,000. It'll show you, man, it's not so easy. It'll also give you a feeling of achievement. Man, that's what you need. So you've got to be resourceful. You've got to say, I'm going to do this. You got to say, I'm going to invest money in myself, even if it's scary, even if like the idea of putting like $22,300 for you, maybe that's easy money for you. Maybe it's like, holy crap, man, how am I going to come up with that? But that, once you commit to it, I'm going to do it, and you're going to go, I'll figure it out. I'll go out there and see who still owes me money. I'll sell some crap I don't need in my house. I'll borrow some money, whatever, right? Whatever it is, that resourcefulness, that resilience causes the champion mindset to kick in and causes victory. Victory. I'll tell you my own story in this regard. This is a Nicky Billou's personal story.
Okay.
So several years ago, over a decade ago, my then wife, seemingly out of the blue, decided she didn't want to be married to me anymore. Maybe I should have seen it coming, but I sure as heck didn't. Yeah. I spiraled downward. She kicked me out of the house. I was sleeping on my mother's couch. I wasn't allowed to see my kids. There was court orders involved. It was horrible stuff. Okay. And I was really like depressed and blaming everybody but myself. Good friend of mine took pity on me, and he bought me a ticket to a high-end business conference, and he paid my way there, right? Which was really nice of him. I watched a man give a talk, and the talk spoke to my soul. So as soon as it was over, I raced to the front. I knocked everybody out of the way. And I said, hey, my name is Nicky. Speaker's name was Bill. Let me tell you my story, Bill. Told him my story. And at the end of it, I said, Bill, I think I need to hire you. And I was real nervous saying that. Real nervous. Yeah. He could tell. He looked at me. He says, I understand. He said, but I need you to understand something. That I am, I'm someone who charges $5,000 is my minimum fee for 5 hours of coaching with me. I require payment upfront, in full, in advance. I offer no refunds. I offer no guarantees. You still want to hire me, son? Yeah. He's trying to help me out. And I said, oh my God, I don't have that kind of money. He said, okay, let me give you a little bit of free coaching. I go, oh, okay, that sounds great. Free coaching. Thank you. He said, it really doesn't matter how much money you have right now. He said, hold up, Bill, but I thought you said you needed $5,000 from me. Of course it matters how much money you have. He said, no, man, it really, listen, there's 20 guys lining up to work with me. I don't need you. I don't need your business. These guys are, they're going to pay. I said, okay. He said, but you need me. Like, you need me. I'm like, yeah, I guess you're right. He said, it doesn't matter how much money you have. What matters is, how bad do you want change? He said to me, you just told me your wife kicked you out of the house. You can't see your kids. You can't provide for your family. And you're sleeping on your mother's couch, and you're a grown-ass man. He said, how bad do you want change, man? How much longer do you want to put up with this? A day? A week? And I'm just like feeling worse and worse every time he said it. I said, a month? I'm like, oh God. A year? Your whole life? I'm like, no. whoa, bro, whoa. No. I said, hey, Bill, tell you what, let's make an appointment for me to come see you in a couple days, and I'll sign up there.
Yeah.
He said, okay. So we made an appointment in his office. Coincidentally, his office was a 5-minute walk from my house, which kind of like was crazy.
Yeah, it is.
So I was a fitness trainer at the time, and I just was picking up the phone, Lee, with energy, right? Energy. And I'm going to guys who I've been in conversation with who had not yet made up their minds. Not yes, not no. And I said, yo, it's Nicky. He said, what's up? What do you need? I go, listen, I got great news. He said, what? He said, you, sir, you're really fat. He was like, you need to lose weight. I was, yeah. I said, if you don't, you're in trouble. You could get a stroke. You could get a heart attack. This is not good. He goes, yeah. I said, all right. Me, I'm broke. I can't see my kids. I need money so I can see my kids. So I'm going to do you a favor. I'm going to give you the deal of a lifetime, half price of the price I quoted you. But there's a catch. He goes, what's the catch? I said, I need an answer now. And if it's yes, I need payment now. In full. Two guys said, okay. And it was $1,000. The $2,000 price point cut to $1,000. So I collected $2,000. First money I collected in a yearly. First money in a year.
Wow.
You can imagine I was over the moon excited that I collected money for the first time in a year.
Yeah.
I called up Bill, go, I'm coming. I came, I dropped the $2,000 on his desk, and I'm just like hyped, excited, like ready. And he looks at me and he goes, this is really nice, but the price is $5,000, not $2,000, Nicky. And all of a sudden, my balloon just got punctured. I'm like, oh. But I just looked at him and I go, okay, Bill. He said, what? I said, how many people have you told this story to in your career over the years, as it were? He said, over the years? I go, yeah. He said, maybe 30 to 40. I'm like, wow, that's a lot. He goes, yeah, it is. I said, besides myself, who else ever came back with some money to get started with you? He said, oh, you're the very first person to have ever come back. And I'm like, whoa, 3% of people really are ready to act. The rest of people don't want to act. You know what I'm talking about? 3% of people. So I told him, I said, listen, man, as you can see, here's $2,000. I'm going to sign a contract saying I'll pay you the rest within 30, 60 days, whatever the case may be. Because Bill, I want change bad.
Yeah.
He agreed. He signed a contract with me, and I paid him back early, one day early, but early nonetheless, right?
Yeah.
And the rest is history. I made 6 figures in less than 6 months, and I was off into the races. And I tell you this because you asked that question of me, and here's my question for you and for your listener. How bad do you want change? How much longer do you want to put up with your current situation that you say you don't want? Another day, another week, a month, a year, for the rest of your life? Because if you want change bad, then my suggestion to you is that you make a decision, you make a commitment that you're going to suck first at it, you invest in yourself and get coached and be coachable, and you become resourceful to figure out whatever you got to do to make that change happen. Because at the end of the day, all of that is up to you.
Yeah.
It's not up to anyone else. Not up to God. God has got your back, but God is going to give you the tools for you to win. It's not going to do the work for you. Not up to your coach. Your coach will show you the path, but at the end of the day, you must do the work. Up to you. You and you and you.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, so you got 97% of people who aren't ready to act. And I just want to ask you a question. What role does fear or self-doubt play in holding people back, and how do they get out of that 97 percentile and into the 3%?
We
It's
all
back to
have fear.
mindset.
We all have fear. We all have self-doubt.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't get up every day going, oh my God, I'm going to crush the world. No, there are days where I get up and I'm like, I want to go back to bed. Straight
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
But I don't. And this is the honest truth. It's a decision. It's a decision.
Yeah.
It's a decision. It doesn't matter fear. It doesn't matter self-doubt. If you want change bad, you got to make the decision.
Gotcha.
And then you got to commit. And you got to understand that you are not going to be good. You're going to suck.
Yeah.
But if you stay the course, you will win. It may not be on your timeline. It's on God's timeline. I love it when people say, it better happen in the next 90 days or else I quit. Really? That's not how it works. It's not how it works.
Yeah.
It works the way it works.
Yeah.
Works the way it works. One of my clients, I'm going to be straight up with you. She was with us for a year with 0 results. 0. But she kept coming back. She kept doing the work. And then all of a sudden, in 6 weeks, she made $220,000. Why? Because God finally saw, this lady ain't quitting. Let's give her what she's asking for. That's how it works.
Got it. All right, I need a free tip, a free strategy from you right now. Your work involves positioning people as authorities in their niches. So what's the first step in becoming a branded authority? Or any step that you're willing to tell us right now?
You can't be all things to all people. There's too many people who go into business going, I don't want to limit myself. But if you try to be all things to all people, you're going to be nothing to nobody. Specialists make all the money in all fields. Generalists don't, right? If you look at a GP, a family doctor, general practitioner, they make $140,000 a year. If you look at a heart surgeon, they make $660,000 a year.
Yeah.
Why is that? Right? So narrow your focus. That's the first thing. What are you actually good at? What problem can you solve better than anybody? Yeah. Look, I solve several problems, but the problem I solve better than anybody is getting you off your keister and into action. Nobody does it better than me. Nobody does it as good as me. Right? Second problem I solve is people being invisible in the marketplace. I show you how to be visible. That's thought leadership. That's being a branded authority. Solve that problem too. I'm excellent at that as well. Right? I have a third problem I solve. It's called How to Be a Great Podcast Guest. I wrote a book on it. That's my latest book. It's called Get Booked and Get Paid. How to Generate 6 figures plus a year through podcast guesting. I've been a guest on 670 podcasts. I think, Lee, you can see just based on how I'm showing up here that I am not an average podcast guest, right?
Yeah.
My ability to teach this is right up there. But look, if I'm going into the marketplace and going, I can help you with sales, I can help you with thought leadership, I can help you with podcast guesting, people are going to go, what?
Yeah.
You know, the messaging in the marketplace needs to be clear and precise. The number one message that I bring out there is, are you stuck? Are you stuck in sales? Are you stuck in your results? And if the answer is yes, would you like to get unstuck? Yes. Would you like to get unstuck by somebody who's amazing at helping people do the needful and get their mindset right so they don't think, oh my God, I'm pushy, I'm a bad guy. Well, your mindset right is that you're actually a servant of God looking to help one of his children who's hurting.
Yeah.
And I'll get your mindset right and I'll get you into action. That, my friend, is, I think, for most people that are in business that are doing under $1 million a year in sales, they need that.
Yeah.
That's what I believe. Do they need thought leadership? Yep, they need that too. Let's get some sales through the door so they have some money and they can breathe first, right? Let's do
Right.
that. Do they need podcast guesting? Yep, they need that too. That could be part of the strategy to get you money, because being podcast guest is cheap, doesn't cost you a lot of money. It's a great strategy in that regard.
Yeah.
But first and foremost, sales, money through the door and into action. Let's get you in action to sell, get money through the door. That's it. If you're already good at being in action, you don't need me. But if you're not, if you know that you have not got that track record, then you need me.
Yeah. I like it. All right. You're super motivated. You got that energy. What's the best piece of advice that you've received about staying motivated? That you received. Not that you're going to tell me or tell everybody out there, but what's something that you've received? And I know you probably had to think about this one.
Yeah. Fill your head. One of my old mentors said, fill your head with positivity. Yeah. So he said, read a lot of books. You mentioned when that YouTube was coming out, he said, go on YouTube and watch the speeches of the great masters. Mm-hmm. That's what you got to do. So I that's what I do. I read a lot, a lot. And I listen to podcasts. I go watch speeches and lessons by the great masters like Jim Rohn. Love watching his stuff. Zig Ziglar. Those guys are awesome. Tony Robbins. Yeah. You got to just go on and fill your head with positivity.
Oh, I love it.
Thank you.
All right, this has been amazing. We've talked a while, and I definitely appreciate your insight, your energy, your tutelage, and hopefully the listeners have as well. And, how can the listeners connect with you and learn more about your work?
All right. So there's 2 levels. I've got 2 podcasts, the Thought Leader Revolution and the Sovereign Man podcast. So if you go on any of your favorite platforms and you type in my name, they should come up under podcast.
Yeah.
Secondly, social media, blah, blah, blah. Again, I'm the only Nicky Billou in the world. Social media, type in anywhere at Nicky Billou. You find me real easy.
That's awesome.
But if you're beyond that, if you're beyond the let me check you out phase, and you're like, I want to have a conversation with somebody who can help me solve a problem, if that's where you're at, then go to my calendar link, which is ecircleacademy.com/appointment, and book a call with me. I call those success calls because they're all about helping you generate success. You get 45 minutes of my time on a complimentary basis. So there's no charge, no fee. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a coaching session with you to help you create your vision of success, your visioning. We call it visioning success. Success vision, as it were. And
success vision,
that is what you need, man. That is what you need. If that's where you're at and you're looking for some help, then do that.
Gotcha. I like it. All right. Do you have any final words for us today? Any words of encouragement that you like? Something we didn't talk about just yet?
I believe in you, man. And everybody needs someone to believe in them. And I got to say this to anyone listening here. If your self-belief for whatever reason is low, don't stay by yourself in your head, because it's just going to go lower. Get around some people who love you and believe in you. And if you haven't got easy access to that, then jump on my calendar, man. Because I, in general, just believe in human beings, and I'll believe in you and until I remind you who you are and you believe in yourself. So take advantage of having somebody who's willing to pour some belief in you.
I love it. All righty. Thank you. Today's episode was packed with actionable insights on developing the mindset of champions and achieving financial breakthroughs. Nicky Billou shared practical strategies, actually a little bit. Mostly, let's get into action. What is it? Be more decisive. Be more committed. Be more invested in yourself. Be more resilient. Be more resourceful. So those strategies and $30,000 in your income in just 30 days, the importance of authenticity and branding, and the steps to becoming a recognized authority in your niche. Thank you, Nicky, for your incredible insights and for joining me here on Hindsight the Podcast.
Thanks for having me on, my brother. It was a lot of fun.
My man, I appreciate you. And if you've enjoyed today's conversation, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. Remember, your challenges are only temporary. Focus on where you want to be. Tune in next time for more inspiring stories and practical advice. I'm Lee Jones, your host. I'll see you next time. Hey, thanks for joining me here on Hindsight the Podcast. I'm your host, Lee Jones. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I know I did. And while I have you here, why don't you take your mouse, go over and click on that subscribe button. No, not right there. Over to the right. Down, right there. Boom. Thank you. Now, thank you for subscribing to Hindsight the Podcast. I'm your host, Lee Jones.